K.M. Munshi on Rajaji, the democratic conscience of India. It has been my good fortune to be on terms of mutual affection with most of the great leaders who were nearest to Mahatma Gandhi. Of them, Rajaji and Sardar had been, in a way, closest to me for years. In 1930, I was proceeding to Allahabad to join the Congress leaders where the proposals which ultimately led to the Gandhi-Irwin truce were to be discussed. I changed the train at Jhansi as also several passengers coming from Madras. Among them was Rajaji. That was how we first met each other. Since then, I had the privilege of enjoying his close friendship and confidence. In many difficult situations, he has been a tower of strength to me. Rajaji is the Bhishma Pitamaha of Indian politics. The grand old man that he is, he leads an ascetic life inspired by high moral values and spiritual insight. His courage is immense, and below the terrifying self-composure beats a very kindly heart. I have rarely seen a man who has such a clear insight into men and affairs. He can size up a man's strength and weakness after a moment's contact. He can read his inner motives like an open book. In 1942, when Pakistan riots were being staged in the country under the inspiration of the Muslim League, I parted from Gandhiji and the Congress to begin my tour of the country to mobilize public opinion in favor of Akhand Hindustan. The Congress was pledged to maintain the unity of the country. Gandhiji had said that Pakistan would come only over his dead body. Both Sardar and Jawaharlal Nehru thought the Pakistan movement would fizzle out. At that time, Rajaji alone could foresee that, with the British holding power, the Congress as it was constituted was incapable of meeting an opposition pledged to unabashed countrywide violence. That Pakistan was therefore inevitable, and it would be advisable to negotiate and compromise with Jinnah. Unconvinced by his logic, I was furious at the attitude he had taken. Rajaji at the time was characterized by many as betraying the cause of India. However, the events proved him correct. Rajaji could see clearly what others could not. Again, the country owes him a deep debt of gratitude for having taken up the chiefmanship in 1952 just in order to clear Madras of the communist incubus in disregard of a narrow sense of prestige and even inviting ridicule by so doing. He had written to me at the time that malignant stars had brought him back to politics. Obviously, they had a beneficent effect on Madras and the country as a whole. Years ago, he raised his voice against nuclear tests and vigorously campaigned for a test ban treaty. Recently, a partial test ban treaty has been signed. I can quote from experience many such situations in which his vision and action had proved prophetic. Rajaji is in the forefront of political fights so ceaselessly that people are apt to forget that he is unique in versatility. He is a master stylist. His style is self-restrained, chaste, beautiful, and at times biblical. He has the sure literary touch. He can make subtle distinctions and, at a moment's notice, use appropriate words in appropriate contexts. His short stories are inimitable. His English summaries of the Mahabharata and the Ramayana have a classical touch. Few people have an idea of his many-sided interests. Years ago at Tiruchengood, I heard him discourse on the ways of the beasts. In between political battles, I have seen him reading Shakespeare and Dickens. An important book on politics or economics finds him an ardent reader. He could write on the Raman effect, carry on a campaign against BCG, and discuss with you, if he is free, the medical treatment for lumbago with almost professional precision. In a few weeks he could produce a remarkable lecture on Indian culture or sum up the quintessence of the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita with masterly brevity. Not even the smallest thing escapes him. Even the minutest of a man's mood registers an impact on him. In Gujarati, there is an idiom that if a man looks after his pie, he is sure to save his rupee. Rajaji never forgets the pie. Many years ago, on a wintry night, he alighted at the Jabalpur station to attend the sessions of the AICC. Leaving us at the gates, he went to the station post office to send a telegram. Minutes passed, but Rajaji did not return. Ultimately, I went in search of him. When I arrived at the post office, I found that when all of us were shivering in cold, he was coolly explaining to the officer how to calculate telegram charges according to the rates stated in the telegraph manual and how the officer's calculations were incorrect. Rajaji feels very strongly that democracy can only be saved if a strong opposition party comes into existence. Truth is always greater than formulae, but as Albert Schweitzer has said, it is the fate of every truth to be the object of ridicule when it is first proclaimed. Rajaji stands today as the embodiment of the democratic conscience of the people of India.